So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to calculate your comprehensive ranking score if you're planning to immigrate to Canada. So when you just go open your browser and just type in comprehensive, or just to make it easier, CRS Score calculator, then it's going to be the first link that you'll be seeing here. When you click on it, this is the Canada immigration website, and then you're going to fill in some information, right? If you're single, you have to include that. If you're married, you have to include that. Let's say in this case, we're going to do for both someone that is single and then that has a master's degree, and then the person have 2 years of work experience. Let's see what they're going to have. Then marital status, you're going to put in never married or single. How old are you? Let's say you're 30 years old. What is your level of education? Master's degree. And then they're going to ask you, have you earned a Canadian degree? Have you earned a Canadian degree? No, especially this is when you are applying from a country other than, if you are not in Canada, if you're not studied in Canada. Are your test result less than 2 years old? Yes. So I'm just doing this calculation based on the fact that you plan to do the English test and you're going to score band 8, band 7, which is 8 in listening, 7 in writing, 7 in speaking, and then 7 in reading. So which language test? Let's say you took your IELTS test and then for speaking you score band 7. For listening, you plan to score 7 or 7. For listening, let's say 8. For reading, let's say you score 7 or 7.5. For reading, you score 7. Do you have any other test results? They're going to ask you. Then let's say no, no applicable. In the last 10 years, how many years of skill work experience do you have in Canada? Of course, if you haven't been to Canada, it means that you don't have any work experience, none or less than a year. In the last 10 years, like I said, this person have worked for 2 years in their whatever home country. Do you have a certificate of nomination from the province? Let's say no. If you don't have any provincial nomination. Do you have a valid job offer? No. Do you have a nomination certificate from a province? No. Do you or your spouse have any brother living in Canada who is a permanent resident? If your brother is in Canada and he or she is a permanent resident, then they too will be able to, add to your points. Let's say no. Calculate your score. So here we see that the score is 439 for someone that is single, that has a master's degree and has worked for 2 years. Okay, now let's go and modify this and see what changes is going to bring. Let's say this person is 28 years old. They have a master's degree and then they have worked for 2 years. Let's recalculate and see what point that is going to give. So when I calculate my score, now it's going to give me 444, right? So you can see that just by changing the age, the comprehensive ranking score has actually changed, okay? And I don't know, what the current, when CIC start to do their express entry draw, from the last set of draws that happened before COVID, a lot of them were more than 460, 470, as the case may be, right? So what some people do is that probably they have 3 years of work experience, right? It really increased their chance. So let's say this person have 3 years or more work experience, and then they have a master's degree, and then they are 30 years old. Let's say, and this person is single, and they score the same band in English. Let's see what their CRS score is going to be. So you can see now that with 3 years of work experience and a master's degree, and you are 30 years old as a single person, your comprehensive ranking score is going to be 464. So if IRCC do a draw if they do a draw and the CRS score, the minimum CRS score is 460, it means that you'll be called for you'll be given an invitation to apply. This is for a single person. Now, when you're married, it's a little bit different because there's a way it adjusts your point, right? So let's say because I know a lot of most of you that are planning to come with family, right? Let's say here you're married, and let's say you are, let's say 32 years old, you have a master's degree. Then they will ask you, will your wife is your wife a permanent resident of Canada? No. Will your spouse follow you to Canada? Yes. This is if you are planning to apply for yourself and both your spouse in Canada. Then after answering all your questions, they are going to now ask you information about your spouse. So let's go down. What is the educational level of your spouse? Let's say your spouse has a bachelor's degree as well. So it's good to just kind of play around with something just to have an idea. If you want to wait for one more year for one of you to finish that master's degree, that might increase your chance. In the last 10 years, your spouse, let's say they've never worked in Canada, let's say your spouse did not take the English test. When you calculate, let's say now, see, 435, somebody that is married, and the person is 32 years old, the person has a master's degree, and then they've worked outside of Canada for 3 years, right? So their score is going to be 430, which is pretty low. So let's assume if you want to increase your chances, you tell your wife to go do the English test, right? So let's say your wife do the English test, and then your wife score in listening, in speaking, your wife score band 7, and then in listening, your wife score, or the spouse, right? So it can be whoever is the primary, anybody can be the primary applicant, right? For reading, 7 or 7.5, for writing, 7. Let's calculate the score now. So you see that when both of you write the English test, you are now having 455. Okay, so you have to kind of ask yourself now, is this going to be enough for me to get invitation to apply? So it depends on a lot of things. The actual score that the CRS they are using for that particular draw. Another thing that will increase your chance, if, for example, let's say you are working as an engineer with 2 years or 3 years of work experience, and you specify that you desire to stay in, let's say Manitoba or any province, right? Then when you put in that province, regularly these provinces, they go to the express entry pool, set for candidates that have certain type of skills that they are looking for, right? And if they pick you, guess what? You are going to have extra 600 points. So even though your score was 300 and you have a very good years of work experience, and you indicate that you are going to settle in a particular province and they nominate you, I tell you, you are going to have, an additional 600 points, which will increase your chances. So think about that, I would say irrespective of what your point is, if you have good work experience and you score at least 8777 in your English test, you have a master's degree, just enter the express entry profile and they indicate the particular province that you are interested in. They might do a provincial nomination and you might be selected. Okay, let's assume, let's just play around something a little bit. Let's say your wife has a master's degree as well. Let's see how that is going to change your score. If your wife has a master's degree, then the total point now is going to be 457, right? So, if you think about here, what and what can I adjust? The English score is already done. You can't really change, any other thing here. It's only maybe you are doing PhD, right? Let's say somebody doing PhD or has finished his PhD. Let's see what the score is going to be. So when you click on calculate, the score now is 471. So the higher the educational score, the higher your chances. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope with this video you've learned how to calculate CRS score for Canada. If you have any specific question, just leave a comment in the comment section, and then I will address your question, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the like button and then share this video with your friends, so that whenever new videos are released, if you subscribe, you'll be able to get notified when new videos are released. I'll see you in the next video.